Serious Sam 4. Is it worth a buy? Let's read the words of the developer. Serious Sam 4 reignites the classic first-person shooter series in a high-powered prequel loaded with an explosive arsenal, intergalactic carnage and perfectly timed one-liners. Before we start, guys, can you please make sure you are subscribed and you have clicked the notification bell? Because I'm getting a lot of reports of people asking me when I'm reviewing a game that I've already reviewed, and they said, oh, well, I received no notification. So can you just double check that you are subscribed and you have clicked the notification bell, or you probably won't even know that this review's been released, which means you won't even be watching this now. So I'm talking to myself. Damn. Here's the graphical options, guys. It doesn't have a great deal of them, really. I mean, it does have a few, but they're kind of scattered around a bit. You have a choice of DirectX 11, DirectX 12 or Vulkan. Now, I opted for DirectX 12 and I was having some crashes, but I'd played about half of the game on DirectX 12 and then I decided, bollocks, I'm switching it down to DirectX 11. Obviously, it ran better, ran faster. It didn't look a massive difference between 12 and 11, to be honest, and it did stabilize the game out a little bit more for me, but I'll come to the bugs later on. It ran a little bit iffy for me as well when I was running everything on Ultra on DirectX 12, so I did turn things down to around about the high setting, and then I went, like I said, to DirectX 11 and I got it absolutely zipping along, no problem at all. My girlfriend was running at 1070. She had it running on DirectX 12 all the way through, I think. She didn't have any problems either. And the other two guys, Owl and Volty, that joined us for this, I was playing 4-player nearly all the way through the game. In fact, actually, I think I did the first 6 missions solo, and then I did a couple duo, then the rest of the game was all done with 4 players. And they didn't really have much problem running the game either, so it ran well for pretty much everybody. Now, unfortunately, all the footage I recorded in DirectX 12 has come out blank, something to do with shadow play. So I've just dived back in the game and switched it to Vulkan, and this is the footage you're looking at now. This is in Vulkan mode, so you can get a bit of an idea of what they're like. I'm now going to switch it over to DirectX 11. So this is DirectX 11 now, so you can see the difference. It isn't massive, so you're not really missing much out not seeing the game in DirectX 12. The graphics aren't great, to be honest with you, but when you have these kind of mobs, the amount of mobs that's in this game, this is why. Anyway, let's get back on with the review. There's a lot of options on this game for single player and for multiplayer. You can kind of tweak a lot of the settings like you could in other Serious Sam games to get the exact kind of game that you want. And there's also modding tools for this, so the community can... I can't wait to see what the community come up with for this. It's going to be really, really good. Now, I played most of the game on a review build, but a patch of 37 gig did drop yesterday after I'd kind of finished most of the game. There was only about 2.5 hours left to play. We had tons and tons of bugs during our playthrough, and even after the patch we still had bugs, crashes, graphical anomalies and things like that. So I think it's only fair that we have a look at the actual bug list. It has graphical errors, it has numerous desktop crashes. When you do crash to desktop, a lot of the players were unable to rejoin the game in progress, which meant I had to stop the game, go back to the beginning of that level and re-invite them, and then they could come into the actual game. One of the guys fell through the map. We had barriers blocking progress of some players because the game didn't realise that 2 of us had gone a little bit too far ahead, and it blocked the path for the others. As you can see here, this is a split screen from my screen and my girlfriend's. She was stuck behind the barrier with one of the other guys, and I was able to get through the barrier because it was gone on my screen. So there's a bit of that going on. On certain parts of the game you have to kill all enemies, and sometimes, especially the helicopters, were flying kind of out of bounds, away where you couldn't hit them, and we had to sit and wait for them to fly back into range, popping up behind buildings so we could actually kill them. I'm pretty sure that's a bug, because why would you have that as intended? We had bodies gliding around. This didn't happen to the host, it only happened to the other players. They'd kill a body, and instead of the body falling on the floor, it was just gliding around. Some guys had blank screens on the cinematics, and also lots of artifacts around certain things. I had all of this as well. Even the animations were a bit bugged. When you hit people with road signs, they react before the road sign even hits them, which is a bit shit, to be honest. So the game is a mess. There's no other way of calling it. It needs fixing urgently. And this is a problem because a game shouldn't have been released in this state in the first place. I mean, I don't know what they do for quality control these days. I don't even think they do quality control. It kind of sucks. And it pains me to say this because I do like these developers. I mean, they give me 4 keys for this game. 4 keys, guys, which is just huge thank you for that. But, you know, I have to call it as it is. And as it is, it's a mess. Which is unfortunate. But let's move on to the good stuff, because there is a lot of good stuff. Actually, there's one more bad thing I want to mention. The Legion system. It felt like a con to me, the Legion system. It's been hyped up. This game has you fighting thousands of mobs. Now, right at the very beginning of the game, you do fight thousands of mobs for about 10 seconds. And then at the end of the game, on the very final bit, you also fight thousands of mobs. But all the main time in between that, you don't fight thousands of mobs. So, yeah, that's not good. That's not good, I don't think. That's very misleading in my book. Now, what you do fight is a lot of mobs, certainly over 100 at times, and that's more than enough to keep even 4 people on their toes. We were dying left, right and centre. We were playing it on hard, and it was quite brutal, although I think we could go up to the next level, and I probably will when I play through this again. And I am going to play through this again because despite what I've just said and all the bugs, I absolutely love this game. And this is why, guys, I'm not interested in the story of Serious Sam, because Serious Sam doesn't need a story, guys. Serious Sam is a badass. He's the baddest of asses. And what he does is have lots of weapons and shoots things. And you get 19 weapons in this game. 19, guys. And most of them have dual fire modes. You also get mini nukes, black holes that you can deploy, giant shields that slow down time for the enemies but not you, lots and lots of toys that you can play with to destroy the enemies. You even go into giant mechs. And let's be honest, guys, when you're in 100-foot mechs, these big badass monsters that were kicking your ass don't seem so big when you're up there raining down hellfire on them. But Serious Sam, guys, is about dual-wielding big fucking guns. And oh yeah, this game lets you do that just dandy.
Who gives the give it a big fucking gun, the big fucking gun, a big pile of elephant gun. Who gives the give it a big fucking gun, the big fucking gun, give it a big pile of elephant gun.
It even lets you use a combine harvester to just ride over all the mobs. You also get quad bikes as well. It's just fun. I mean, it just is fun despite the story. I mean, one of the downsides of the story is it has NPCs that are on your side, and sometimes they accompany you on missions. Why? We don't want NPCs on our missions. Well, I don't anyway. But I can't speak for you guys, but for me, Serious Sam should just be about the players in co-op, not freaking NPCs. I kept getting them confused with players, sometimes even with enemies, and started shooting them. Circle strafing your own NPCs ain't fun. The world itself, the maps are really well done most of the time. Very big open areas. You get this kind of excitement when you enter a map and you just see a huge open area. You think, oh yeah, I know what's going to happen here. Bring it, bring it. And then in the middle of the map, you'll have some ammo. And you know if you go anywhere near that, all hell breaks loose. And it always does. And it's always great fun. It's just having hundreds of mobs attacking you is just brilliant. You've got to keep moving and ducking and diving and jumping and weaving and circle strafing, and you'll still die, but it's great fun doing it. And that's what Serious Sam's always been about, and that's what this is about. And this is fun, and that's what I want to do. When I've finished work, I just want to have fun, and this does deliver on the fun side, despite some of the cringy one-liners. But hey, listen, the one-liners in this I quite liked, because I kind of felt that Serious Sam was taking the piss out of cringy one-liners in this, especially in the first half of the game. I had a few laugh-out-loud moments, especially when he called an alien Charlie. I was just laughing my head off. It's just random stuff. I quite like the dialogue. If you don't, well, that's fine. I actually did. Now the game also has an editor, so you can edit your own actual levels, and goodness knows what's going to be made by the fan base of this. I can't wait to get my hands on it. It is though disappointing that it has all the problems that it has. The fact that it's only 4-player co-op and not 16 like its previous games. So there's things that people aren't going to like, but at the end of the day, guys, Serious Sam has always been about the gunplay, and the gunplay in this is great. It's always been about lots and lots of enemies. Well, you get that. And you get all kinds of different enemies in this. I love the vampires. They are really cool the way they teleport around. There's loads of big monsters, little monsters, swarming monsters, fast monsters. And when you add to that some secrets, lots and lots of secrets. When I say some secrets, there's bloody loads of secrets where there's little rewards for you. If your jumping precision is good, unlike mine, you can get some of these rewards. And so put it all together, despite the bugs, I think it's a good game, so I'm thumbing it up. Now it's going to lose marks obviously because it could have been better, should have been better. I'm saying it again. I'm pretty much saying this on every game because it's just the way things are now in 2020. Well, they have been for a few years now. It just seems that games can be released in any old state. Release it now, patch it later mentality. But I am thumbing it up, guys, but I will reflect in the score all the bugs that we've encountered, which is a bit of a shame. But hey, you've got to be honest, but I did like the game.